incorporating the international humanitarian law, global initiatives, goals into African Union policy could strengthen legal protections for civilians, humanitarian workers, and infrastructure during conflict, reinforcing accountability mechanisms and enhance training for military and peace support personnel in Africa. Such measures would mark a significant step toward embedding humanitarian norms into continental peace and security strategies. In an exclusive interview with OBN Horn of Africa, head of the International Committee of the Red Cross delegation to African Union, Bruce Lorenz Biber, said the adoption of declaration to strengthen international humanitarian law in Africa will play a key role as a top political priority.
The ICRC, together with six states, six governments, have really started this initiative called the Global IHL Initiative, which really seeks to make IHL a top political priority, that the heads of state really regard IHL as something that they absolutely must ensure is respected. In other words, that civilians, war-wounded prisoners are always spared in fighting and are provided the assistance that they're entitled to. And so to achieve that, what we're hoping at the AU Summit is that there's been a declaration that has been drafted, a declaration to strengthen international humanitarian law in Africa and elsewhere. And it's been submitted to the AU Summit by Sierra Leone, the country of Sierra Leone. And it's our real hope that Sierra Leone will succeed in being able to mobilize the support within the African Union amongst member states so that this declaration will be adopted. And if it's adopted by heads of state, this will really mean that IHL is really is a top political priority.
He stated that Africa has a rich culture of protecting humanity in conflict times. He mentioned the Ubuntu culture that teaches shared humanity endures even in war, and it is this moral bond that underpins international humanitarian law, compelling all parties to protect humanity and limit suffering even amid conflict.
Declaration on strengthening of international humanitarian law, which really involves the states of Africa reaffirming how important it is for Africa to be able to ensure protection and assistance for victims of armed conflict. And if I may add, this is very much rooted in traditional African culture. There's an expression in Southern Africa called Ubuntu, which is humanity. It basically means humanity. And what IHL is all about is upholding Ubuntu, or humanity, in wartime. And every African culture has examples, has demonstrations of really having rules or traditions or customs where women and children are spared in fighting, where elderly are cared for when there's fighting, when that livelihoods are not destroyed. Practically every culture in Africa has these traditions and customs. So basically what we're hoping for is that there's this adoption of this declaration, which actually reaffirms also things that are very rooted in African culture itself, which is these rules to make sure that defenseless people in armed conflict are protected and assisted.
The adoption of declaration to strengthen international humanitarian law in Africa in the upcoming AU Summit will have a significant role in upholding humanitarian activities in war times.